Hi guys, tonight's presentation is building your business from the inside out. First thing you want to do, and the first section I want to cover here tonight, is finding a definite major purpose for your life. Napoleon Hill said, "Cherish your visions and your dreams as they are children of your soul, the blueprints of your ultimate achievements." In my opinion, the most important step anyone can take in the development of themselves and in the development of their potential is to determine a definite major purpose, also known as a DMP, for their life. If you really think about it, the most successful people in the world do this instinctively. Some of them may be well aware of the importance of having a major purpose in their life, while others just happen to stumble upon their purpose and never give it a second thought before diving in. So you really want to find your definite purpose, right? Find your definite major purpose. What are some of the characteristics of a DMP? It is the work you'd rather do whether or not you're paid for it. It's something you have a passion for. It's something that you believe to be very important. When you hold the vision of yourself engaged in your DMP, you feel the excitement and the joy of it. It's work that you would like to be remembered for, kind of like your legacy. You know, when I do network marketing, I really have a passion for it. I think you can tell. And I really believe in the concept of it and that we're really helping so many people. And I really like the stories that we get all the time regarding people being able to change their life dramatically in the network marketing field. And that's my purpose. I love to do that. So why is it then that so many people find it and so many people don't find it in their life? Why do we see so many people who don't enjoy their days and spend all of their time wishing for something more? From my experiences with speaking to tens of thousands of networkers, one of the most obvious pain points I noticed is the fact that many people have not decided on what they really want out of life. It's really not surprising. For the majority of us, from a very young age, we're conditioned to follow instructions, do what others told us to do, and listen to outside opinions. So we do that. We did what we thought we're supposed to do. Our own wants and desires in life took a backseat to what we're supposed to be doing and established a safe and secure future for ourselves. You know, the old 40-hour thing, you know, go to work for 40 years, go to school for a number of years and get a job and work 40 years, you know, for a $40 gold watch kind of thing, right? For many people, a critical assumption had been made in their life, and it translated to a mindset of lack and personal limitation. The assumption is that I cannot make a living doing what I love to do. How many times have you heard that, right? I can't make a living at what I really love to do. That's not really true. By assuming this statement as absolute truth, we see millions of people in our society accepting the fact that their dreams in life are unrealistic. Many people file these dreams in a memory bank for safekeeping with the hopes that one day, in some distant future, they'll be in a position to maybe do their heart's desire. If you happen to fall in the above category, or even if you don't, I'd like you to consider the following question. Sorry, getting a little ahead of myself here. If you had all the resources, money, self-esteem, confidence, and personal power to accomplish anything, what would you do? Now, this is a powerful question to ask yourself because you're really talking about a higher purpose. You're really searching for an answer to the following question. What was I put on this earth really to do? The exciting and empowering realization is that we all decide what our purpose is. It's literally up to us to decide what we want to do, what we want to dedicate our life to, finding our own reasons for doing so and pursuing that. So figuring out your DMP in life isn't exactly a trivial task, and we don't expect you to do that right away. In fact, it took me quite a long time of searching, reading, studying, meditating, having discussions with people and so on to really find out what I really want to do. Now, during this time period, I certainly had an idea kind of about what I wanted and the path I wanted to take, but it certainly took me a long time to be able to get there. The point is, don't be alarmed or frustrated, overwhelmed, or anxious if you don't know what your DMP is. In fact, get excited by the fact that you're starting really today to look at that mission and trying to find out really what it is. So what we want to do here tonight is, when I go through different sections here, is to go and start and having you think about some kind of exercises to be able to make that happen. All right. So the first exercise here to think about is make a list of your major passions in your life. This should include anything that you love doing that really makes life worth living for you. Don't worry about how to classify the passion or whether it meets certain criteria. If you love doing it, write it down. I've said many times in network marketing, in the program that you're doing, you have to have a passion for the company, the product, your upline, and the business in general, because you won't be able to overcome any of the pitfalls that happen, because you have to have that drive and that passion, right? It's very, very, very important. For each passion you've listed, close your eyes and visualize yourself participating in that particular activity. On a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being low and 5 being high, how strong of a positively charged emotion do you get from the imagined activity that you're doing? All right? So number those, and you want to kind of categorize them with the least to the positive, okay? Now, for step number 3, your job is to use the full extent of your imagination. This means that you must remove all the limitations and allow yourself to assume that anything can be possible. For any passion that you rank number 5, ask yourself the following question. What's the biggest and most exciting way I can express and experience this passion? Now, think about that. What's the biggest and most exciting way I can express and experience this passion? Here's a little hint for you. If you're stuck on this step and need some inspiration, invest some time to research people who are already masters at performing your particular passion activity. What are they doing with their life? How are they using those talents, and try to duplicate that? That's the fastest way for you to get from point A to point B and subsequently to point Z, is to model yourself after people that you find that have gotten to where you want to go. The next one is, what do you want? For this exercise, your goal is to make a list of at least 20 things you want to be. 20 things you want to do or have in your lifetime. These are wants, material things, spiritual things, relationship, philanthropic, etc. And it's time for you to kind of declare them to yourself. Okay? Just think, most people go through their entire life and never perform this powerful exercise. Once you've completed this, you're already miles ahead of everybody else. So think about that. What do you want out of your life? How will your participation in this specific business get you to where you want to go financially, spiritually, emotionally, and so on? All right? If you want to be able to earn a certain amount of money in our program, okay, if you want to do that, how's it going to affect you? Is it just about the money? Or do you want to be able to help other people? We have so many churches in our program, especially because of our mobile app, that are doing this because they want to help a lot of people and they want to change lives. Well, if that's what it is, that's your passion. Now, once you've completed all those 5 exercises, go back and review them, because you might want to type them out and save them maybe in some kind of a journal of something like that. Now, the next thing is using goals to set your target. Goals are not only absolutely necessary to motivate us, they're essentially to really keep us alive. Robert Schuller. Goal setting and goal achieving is ultimately what characterizes the true winners in life. Unfortunately, for some people, they have wonderful and exciting ideas for their life, but it rarely goes further than just the idea phase. So you really have to take it to the next step. Having a goal allows anyone to take an idea from the invisible plane of thought and begins the process of actualizing it in the real world. So You want to be able to visualize that and take it from just an idea and work it through, make it reality for yourself. So let's focus on the process of goal setting, and after this we're going to help you with the actualization process of goal achieving. So how do you really determine what your goals are going to be? It's really kind of tough. Sometimes people don't, where do I start? What do I do? The easiest way to get going, I think, is really think about all the different various areas of your life where you place importance on improving your results. For an example, the most important areas of my life that I focus on for goal setting may be financial, a career, business, maybe family, health, fitness, recreation, free time, things like that you can think about and what's important to you. There's no rules or restrictions when it comes to defining your own personal categories. The important part is to look within and determine the areas of your life that you'd like to focus on improving. All right, so again, the most important part is to really look inside of you to find out what's important for you, because there's really no right or wrong answer on doing that. You may already be successful in a particular area of your life. This doesn't really mean that you ignore goal setting there. In fact, it's just as important to focus on your goals in this area so that you move your mind into the mode of constant improvement. Don't always say, oh, I've arrived and I'm there and so on. You want to always improve yourself. There's always room to grow. And by universal law, if you're not growing and expanding, then you're fading away and dying. Choose now to always be moving in the direction of expansion and a fuller expression of your life and yourself. Goals are very much like a destination and a roadmap for your life. You're in charge of your direction that you travel all the time, and people with goals generally accomplish great things because they know where they're going. An alarming observation is that according to recent statistics, fewer than 5% of the population have written goals for their life. This means that over 95% of the people are moving throughout life without a clear direction. Imagine getting in a car and say, okay, let's go, and then the driver says, well, where do you want to go? So I don't know, right? It's the same type of thing. So the obvious question for these folks is, if you don't know where you're going to go, how do you really know how you're going to get there, right? By doing your goal setting, you automatically move yourself into the top 5% of those high achievers just by that simple act alone. So let's work out some exercises here for you. Based on your responses from what I already talked about earlier, take your passions and your wants and list out at least 5 short-term goals in your life. Short-term goals are goals that you'd like to reach within 3 to 6 months. You may want to set a goal for a specific area of your life. For example, again, financial, business, career, health, fitness, relationship, recreation, charity, spiritual, and so on. Number 2, determine 2 or 3 long-term goals in your life. These are goals that will take 2 years or longer to achieve. Some of your current short-term goals may be stepping stones to those longer-term goals. For example, you may be a kind of a novice runner, or you may like to qualify in the New York City Marathon, something like that. This could be a perfect long-term fitness goal for you. Let's put it in perspective for network marketing. Maybe in 6 months you want to be earning 10 grand a month, okay? But now that's your medium-term goal, and you're going to use that to be able to facilitate your weekly goals and your daily goals to be able to get to your medium goal, and also then you'll be able to get into your upper term goals that maybe are 2 years down the road. Maybe at that point you want to get to 40, 50,000 a month, or whatever it happens to be. So you use those goals to be able to chop up your month, your day, your week to be able to get to where you want to go. So what do you want to achieve financially in a business in 3 to 6 months? Okay, work backwards to be able to get to what you want to do daily. Now, create a no-limit goal for your life. This is a goal that you may seem, at this point, completely unreasonable and unrealistic based on your current capabilities and knowledge. But it's a dream goal that could define your entire life. It could be money. It could be really anything, whatever your dream goal is. Your job is to write this goal down and start brainstorming all the different ways you might be able to make this goal happen and make it into reality. Once you have your goals and exercises completed, take the most important goals and write them on a blank business card or someplace that you can see them all the time. Business card, cue card, on your cell phone, something like that you can see them all the time, and use it to remind yourself to be able to achieve those types of activities. And always keep it in mind that you want to try to strive for those things as well. So the next thing we want to talk about is making action automatic. It's the duty of men to judge men only by their actions. Our faculties furnish us with no means of arriving at the motive, the character, the secret self. We call the tree good from its fruits and the man from his works. Ralph Waldo Emerson. I've already talked about examining your personal passions to find your DMP, definite major purpose, in your life, as well as the importance of goal setting and using goals to direct your life. Now, while these sections I talked about before may have been a lot of fun, I know kind of went through a lot fast, you can't really write them down a lot. I just kind of want to give you the overall concept of really get you start thinking about these things. I don't anticipate you kind of writing it all down and doing it as I'm going through, because we're going through quite fast. But just to kind of indoctrinate, there's things you really need to think about. Get the overall concept of what I'm talking about, all right? So we want to get really now into the next phase here is all successful people are action-oriented people. This means that they're willing to go out and do the work required to turn thoughts into actual ideas and into physical results. Do they achieve phenomenal results the first time they attempt something? Absolutely not. These people understand that every so-called failure provides a perfect learning experience to help them move closer to a desired result in life. There's a great video that's on YouTube, and it's called, I just called the Do It video. Just do it and do it and do it, and it's a fantastic video. You got to go check it out sometime. I think it's you type in the Do It video. It's great. And you should watch that video. It's fantastic. Now, being an action taker is nothing more than becoming someone who is willing to get involved and experiment with new ideas. Some ideas work well, and others don't. The world's high achievers simply accept the fact that success is very much a numbers game. The more things they try, the more likely it becomes that they're going to reach their goals. I'm sure you've heard that making the light bulb is I found 1,000 ways not to make it, versus finding a way to make it. Now, we don't want to have you, trying things 1,000 times, but hey, I failed a lot more times than most people have failed, and I just kept on going, and I knew my goal was there, and I kept on evolving and figuring it out, and I eventually got to my goal. The key is to make action an automatic process in your life. So many people, they think about things, but they never take action, and where does that get you, right? By this I mean, when you want to find a goal or an objective that you want to reach, you become the kind of person who begins immediately to move towards your desire. While many other people would hesitate to act and move into a state of procrastination because they don't want to deal with it, you'd be well on your way to completing your set objective. Now, in networking terms, you pick up the phone and you call people, right? So you got to take action to do it to get to your objective. Now, word of caution. When I do believe that all successful people are extremely action-oriented, this doesn't mean that they kind of go blindly into different things and go into all these different crazy and zany ideas that enters their mind. There's still an element of planning and calculated risk that must be considered in order to reach any major goal. The difference is that the high achievers gather the facts and make a quick decision. Then they use the power of feedback to examine the quality of their previous actions and adjust their route accordingly. Once again, they make another quick decision, and then they fire away again. So, again, action, feedback, making a quick decision, feedback again, alter it a little bit and keep on going, and then they keep on fine-tuning their measured results. This repeating process keeps on going, and they keep on getting better and better as they go. It seems really simple, so why do most people struggle to produce the results that they want in life? The reason so many people struggle to achieve their goals is that they've never made a committed decision or a firm decision to really join the business or do anything specific. Now, a firm decision is a mental move that anyone can make that makes the action automatic. As the commitment level increases, so does the intensity of the actions being taken. As an example, let's say that you get a call from somebody about a new business opportunity. One option is to make a personal decision and tell yourself, hey, I'm in, let's do it. And you pay for your entry in the program and you make a financial and mental commitment to get in and get it working. All right. Some people they say, let me stick my foot in there, can you put me in for free? And that's really kind of not doing it. And I mentioned this on a call the other day that, sometimes I get calls from people and they say, hey, can we come into your program and can we join here? But, listen, I don't have any money. And, as much as I'd love to help them out, I'm doing them a disservice by saying, yeah, no problem, and because I've tried it probably 100 times, if that, 200 times, and I just found that 99.9% of the people, they're wasting my time, they're wasting their time because they never do anything with it because they don't have a foot in the water. They don't have skin in the game to be able to make their decision, worthwhile, so to speak. And even leaders do that quite a bit. Hey, come in, you pay my way in, I'll do the program, and I've seen it just don't work. It just doesn't work. I mean, as much as I love some people to come in and do that, I've just tried it so many times. So really, you have to be able to get in there and make a mental commitment and a financial commitment to go in, even if it's a modest one. So here's another way you can think about it too, and this is more in the harsher area. I'll give you my honest effort for an entire year. I'll give it my honest effort for an entire year. And this is something you're saying to yourself. I'll be held to my goals and actions. If I fail to do these actions, I have no one to blame but myself. If I fail, I'll write a check for $10,000 to the charity that I don't even like. So you write this goal to yourself and you plaster it up somewhere that you know about. You're going to hold yourself to it, and this way you use it as something that you can keep yourself on the right track. Now, an extreme, that might be kind of extreme and somewhat kind of comical, right? But the truth is that if you hold yourself to it, that might really work. Now, you know yourself, and you know yourself better than I do, that you're going to be able to either use that as a tool to be able to help you go and achieve your goals and so on. But let me get into the exercises here. And for your no-limit goal, create a list of at least 20 actions that you can take that would move you towards your goal. For each of your short-term goals, write down a committed decision that you can make today. That would act as a forcing function to help you achieve the goal. All right, for your short-term goals, write down a committed decision right now that you can make right now today that would be something that's going to force you to really take action to achieve whatever goal you want. The next thing is to track your actions. Keep a log of your activities that pertain to your goals. You ever do that? I used to take this notebook that I had, and I would track how many. We used to do card pass out in the morning, and we used to go out and have these little business cards made up very inexpensively, dress up nicely, and go out and pass these cards out to people commuting in the morning. We're in Manhattan, in New York. And we just sit there, good morning, say good morning, good morning, good morning. And on the card, it would have people go to a voicemail, and ultimately we'd call them up, and we would send them and meet them in a hotel meeting. So I used to track how many cards I would pass out, to how many people would call back, to how many people I talk to how many people I invite to the meeting, to how many people go to the meeting, to how many people sign up. And I did that for months and months and months. So eventually I knew how many cards I had to pass out to get a sign up. And so if I wanted to double my income, I had to pass out twice as many cards, that type of thing. So that's what I mean by writing things down to be able to get to your goal and keeping track and holding yourself accountable for that. So our next section I want to talk about is facing your fear, because a lot of people, one of the reasons why they're not successful is, I talk about it a lot, is they're a secret agent. They're just afraid to talk to people. Many times I know people that have been in co-ops, advertising co-ops, they get the leads of these people that say, hey, call me, I'm interested. They can't even call them. They can't even pick up the phone and call them. It's not a cold call. The person said, I'm interested. They just won't call them. So you can't be a secret agent. You have to be able to open your mouth and not be afraid to tell people, especially if somebody wants to hear about the program, right, or hear about the details about the program. So in this section here, it's really about facing your fears and how to overcome that. Do the thing you fear to do and keep on doing it. That's the quickest and surest way that you're ever yet to discover and conquering fear. That's from Dale Carnegie. You do it over and over and over again, and eventually the anxiety that you may have of doing something like that goes away. That's what people do on public speaking all the time. They start with a small group and gradually move up, and after a while, it's no big deal. Same thing when you need to talk to people. Maybe you started first with doing a three-way call with your upline. Okay, and eventually, as they're talking, you learn how they're doing it. Then eventually, they talk less and you talk more. Then eventually, you're on by yourself, and they're just listening in case you need a crush for somebody to go back on. And eventually, you're doing it by yourself. Eventually, you're teaching your people to do it. You know, see how it kind of moves into your downline, and you're teaching those people how to do it as well too. And that's how you transfer your knowledge onto your people as well. Almost every person who has ever achieved their dream or major life goal has at some point had to face some kind of fear. Fear is an inevitable component of personal growth. What's most important to understand is that fear does not have to paralyze you or prevent you from experiencing the fullness of life, income, or anything else you're looking to achieve. What are some of the fears that you face in the business? Fear of rejection is probably the biggest one. Fear of not making it. How about the fear of what other people may think? I hear that all the time, right? Why do we have to face the fears that we have? Now, in order to achieve anything new in your life, you must be willing to change your actions so that we can produce new and improved results. By any time that we start to do this process, we introduce and we start to change things into our life, we start to move out of our comfort zone, and the byproduct of that typically is some form of fear that's happening and anxiety. If we don't understand what fear really is and why we experience it, our natural reaction would be to retreat from anything new or anything uncomfortable and thus revert back into our comfort zone. When this happens, many people become stuck and they don't become successful. And I've seen it happen so many times in network marketing, and the people, they're just afraid. They're afraid to pick up the phone, afraid to talk to people, what if, and they don't get anywhere. Now, if you want to liberate yourself from the shackles of this kind of fear and break out and step into a new exciting place in your life or a new income or achieve some kind of goal that you want to have, your journey has to really become with awareness and what fear really is. You must become aware of what fear is doing to you and so on, and identify it and ultimately move through it. The first thing you should do is to take into account that fear is a reaction that the brain produces when it senses pending danger. It's actually a very beneficial emotion because it keeps us alive in a potentially dangerous situation. Unfortunately, over the years, we have been conditioned to associate fear with other non-life-threatening events. For example, you may be driving along the highway when someone swerves and cuts you off. You quickly hit the brakes and avoid a collision. At the time of the incident, the physical sensations in your body could be extremely powerful. Your pounding heart, shaking hands, knees knocking, and so on. When it comes to personal fears, if you're afraid of public speaking or just picking up the phone and calling someone, you may experience the exact same type of physical effects when you start to pick up the phone and talk to that person, right? Well, it's the same type of chemical reaction in your body. So what's the difference? One situation is a physical harm or maybe even death with the accident, but the other situation, at its very worst, would result in maybe some short-lived embarrassment or, short-lived somebody saying no to you or something like that, right? They're totally opposite and poles apart in terms of consequences, but your body reacts the same way and treats them totally identical. And that's been proven in science as well, too. So when you really boil it down, it's not so much the fear that stops people, it's the physical feelings produced by the fear. Okay, let me say that again. When you really boil it down, it's not so much the fear that stops people, it's the chemical reactions in your body and your brain that's causing you to stop fear. Now, if you can separate yourself from that, then you're in your first step of getting over that fact. With this new awareness, what you can do is you can be in a position to take bigger actions and play full out in the area of your life. In a book by Susan Jeffers, she points out in her bestseller that you can feel the fear and do it anyway. Why? Because you understand exactly what is happening and you can accept that it's really perfectly normal to happen. Sometimes people don't want to go to on a roller coaster or something because of the fear. You understand that it's just a chemical reaction in your body doing that, but it's not necessarily going to hurt you. Okay, the chances of something like that hurting you is very minute. Now, you don't want to worry about eliminating the fear. Just focus on taking any necessary actions toward your goals and dreams in spite of the fear. Think of, they're not saying no to me, but only to what I'm offering, and it's just not the right time in their life to consider anything right now anyway. The way I look at introducing anyone to the business is that I just look at, hey, it's not the right time for them. It's not the right time for everybody at this point anyway, and I'm not looking to sell them on it anyway. I'm just kind of I'm an energy scout. I'm looking for people that have the same energy, that are open and to looking at something. All I want to do is, I'm not looking to pitch them on it. I just want to be able to see, hey, you open? Are you looking? Are you open? And that's all I want to look at that point. And if they don't bite, then I just back off. And it's not like they're saying no. I just didn't get the right vibe from them to be able to take it to another step. Now, for the first thing here for the exercise, I want you to go through and for your breakthrough goal, as well as any short-term and long-term goals, write down any fears that you have regarding any particular area of interest. If you're in, again, we'll go back to the business here. If you're looking at the area of interest here and to build your business to another level, what kind of fears do you have here? Are you afraid to talk to people? All right. Are you afraid to introduce this to anyone? Is it anyone personally, maybe family members? Is that a fear for you? I'm a part of the No Friends Club, NFL club, right? You have to look at it and maybe change the way you're looking at it. And maybe you're looking at it as, oh, I'm a salesperson, and I don't want to look like a salesperson, so I'm just not going to do it. Well, maybe if you changed it from being a salesy type of pitch to, I'm just giving them a gift. Or like I did before when I gave you the explanation before, where I just want to see if they're in the right time in their life to look. I'm not pitching them on anything. I just want to, hey, you looking? And at that point, we can kind of take it to another level. And if they cut it off at that point, then, hey, I didn't really pitch them something anyway, right? So I kind of take the fear out that way too. Now, for each fear that you identify, break it down and figure out what's the worst possible thing that can happen. A lot of the time, we kind of feel a rush of fear or intimidation when we consider taking certain actions. For example, the fear of speaking to people about the business. So the worst thing that can happen is that they say no. One thing you can do is to not use a salesy pitch like I mentioned before. It can be really easy as far as an introduction. Make it a kind of a matter of fact and not an over-the-head, bang them over the head type of speech. Like, think of social media right now. When you're in Facebook and so on, how do you kind of tell people about the business? Well, it's not really a business medium, right? So you don't go in and you don't stand up on a soapbox and start telling them about the business, just like when you're at a party. You're not going to put up a soapbox and stand up and start pitching everybody on the business. It's more of a social thing, right? A social thing. Eventually, people are going to ask what you do for a living, right? It always comes around to that. So you want to think about that and think about that kind of angle that you're looking to do. And a lot of the marketing methods that I teach also go into that, like forums and things like that you can't really go out and pitch heavily on stuff, but you can certainly eventually get it around to what you do for a living. So what's the pain and the pleasure with this? Ask yourself, is the potential reward of taking this action worth the apparent risk? If you're truly honest with yourself, the answer is probably going to be yes, right? The potential result from this is probably worth it, right? If the potential reward is possibly having this person join and go ballistic with the business, is it worth a 30-second introduction and maybe doubling your income? Well, people probably say, heck yeah. Is that worth somebody just saying no? Would it be worth the risk of facing, really speaking to anybody and conquering your fears in order to reach a new success in your business? So that one person that you speak to can generate tens of thousands of dollars for you. Is that worth taking a risk of them saying no? So T. Harv Eker said, if it's not going to kill you, do it, right? It's a pretty good phrase. I like that. Our next section is develop your mind. What we are today comes from our thoughts of yesterday, and our present thoughts build our life tomorrow. Our life is the creation of our mind. Siddhartha Buddha. Now let's talk about the mind and how our thoughts ultimately determine our entire life experience. Now when I say develop the mind, I'm really talking about reaching an elevated level of understanding regarding the connection between your mind and your body and the results of your life. An important distinction to make before we discuss kind of the mind is any further is that our mind is simply a part of us. It's not just us, it's a part of us. Too often people identify themselves as their mind when in truth our mind is just another part of our being, just like our arms or legs. Even more importantly, we have the ability to control our mind by choosing our thoughts. That's right. We choose our thoughts whether we realize it or not. Unfortunately, many people are in the habit of choosing negative thoughts without even realizing it, that they're doing that, right? For example, I'm sure you've heard of what we in business are called the dream stealers, right? The dream stealers, these are people that suck up your dreams by telling you that it can't be done. It's a scam. What are you doing that? What do you think you're doing? You can't make any money there. It's one of those things. You know, the dream stealers say that all the time, and it's the kind of the bucket of crabs story. You see the picture that I'm showing here? When you try to take crabs out of a basket, what happens? All the other ones start to grab the crab because they don't want them to leave, and they want to try to pull them back into the crab bucket. That's the same thing, right? You know, if you've lived your whole life believing that another person's opinion is more important than your own, then you would have accepted any negative criticism as the truth regardless whether it was served to you or not. In fact, someone's negative comment may have actually caused you to abandon your dreams. Has that ever happened to you? You know, and many times we take the opinions of someone else that they have no clue about what business is. They have no clue about what networking is. They say, it's one of those things, you know, and they don't have a clue as to what it really is. Now, unless you've learned how to choose new thoughts regarding other people's opinions, you would never be able to change the results. So you want to make sure you do that. The empowering realization is that you have the ability to choose thoughts it's always available to you. So if you understand and know that you can choose the way you think, then it's always available for you to change that. You have the power to hatch new thought patterns and beliefs that support your passions and goals in life. Habituating or causing habits is a new way of thinking, and it's not something that's going to happen overnight. Just like any habit, it takes consistency and repetition to do that. You want to dwell on the ideas, the passions, and the wants that we discussed earlier, because the emotional change you get from them will give you the fuel required to complete the following exercise. All right, so you can do this. It's just like a muscle, right? Your brain is a muscle. You have to use it. So step number one is you want to mentally review your thought patterns or beliefs around each particular issue. What kind of self-talk have you been engaged in? Have you been reinforcing this result at some level of your consciousness, right? Think back to your passions and your wants. Build an image of your life and how it would look if you were able to produce a new result in this area. Use written descriptions, pictures, audio, video, or any other tools necessary to help you think from the perspective of your ideal result. Get on conference calls. Hang out with people of a like mind, desire, and passions. It'll become infectious for you eventually, right? So you want to hang out with the people that have the right mindset that you want. Normally you try to stay away from the news. Everything's negative all the time. And how can that not help but you know, contaminate your mind? You want to keep it clean, and you want to keep your mind fresh from that type of stuff. You want to practice persistence. I love this from Calvin Coolidge. Nothing in this world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful people with talent. Genius will not. Genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. The slogan, "Press on," has solved and always will solve the problems of the human race. And, you know, persistence is key. You have to keep on pursuing on the business. And unfortunately, many people just stop when they hit the first bump in the road or hit that proverbial dream stealer. So let's dive into the topic of persistence, the single most important characteristic of any successful person. Most people already know that a great deal of persistence is required to reach any goal of major significance, whether it be related to financial or athletic. I mean, heck, look at an Olympian, you know, right? They breathe persistence. When you have your definite major purpose, DMP, that's been designed around your core passions in life, persistence becomes less of an effort and more of a natural state of being. I mean, if you're working on a really big goal, okay, say your goal in the business is to make $100,000 a year, okay? That's a decent-sized goal for most people. You have to make sure that everything is completely aligned with your passions, your values, and so on, because you're going to have a problem if it's not. All right? You want to be able to go day after day with these, and so this way you can match them all together until it's realized. Now, on the flip side of the coin, if you're working on a goal to please somebody else, or for some other superficial reason, your ability to persist and see that goal through to its completion can become incredibly burdensome because you don't want to do it. You're doing it for somebody else and for really the wrong reasons, all right? It can become actually downright depressing, really, if you do that. So do it for the right reasons. All right, so enough about depressing goals. You're on this webinar because you're excited about life, you're excited about our program, and you're excited about the goals and dreams and things you can accomplish through our program, right? Now, if you think back to what I talked about, which is the idea of interrupting the pattern of self-limited thinking and replacing it with new empowering thoughts, well, think of a new way, a new thought, and it may seem kind of natural to do that in the moment of inspiration. Your negative thought patterns have been developing themselves year after year and have buried themselves firmly within your subconscious mind. So understand that. You're likely going to experience your mind wanting to revert back to that state. So it's going to take you a while to kind of kick yourself in the butt and get out of that state, okay? You've been hit with that so often. Again, I go back to the news. Look at the news all the time about negative, right? Now, in order to ensure that you overcome this trap, consider the following idea. Through the act of persistence, you can begin to monitor your reactions towards life as you go about your day-to-day experience. Your reactions are a direct translation of the type of thoughts you're focused on. If your reactions are moving you away from your goal, you now have the opportunity to use your personal perception to see the situation in a new light and ultimately change the reaction to the event. So if you're seeing it and you understand right away that that's happening, that's the first step that you can start thinking about a way to get out of that. And ask yourself, is what I'm thinking about right now or what I'm doing right now getting me closer to my goal or moving me further away? That's very important. Anthony Robbins says it all the time, Tony Robbins. Is what I'm doing right now getting me closer to my goal or moving me further away? And if the answer is moving it further away, then don't do it. Now, for example, let's say that you suffered an accident and tore a shoulder in the process. Perhaps your natural reaction would be to feel sorry for yourself and complain about your bad luck and all the activities that you'll be missing from and so on because of the injury. Now, using your perception, you could look at the situation with this. You could look at it in a different way, in an opportunistic attitude, and ask yourself, can I learn from this? Or you might even ask, how can I overcome this injury and use my recovery to inspire and teach other people to do the same thing? Right? Think about it that way. It's all how you perceive it, how you look at it. There's actually a guy on the internet who did this and turned his misfortune into a true fortune. Now repeat this new way of thinking over and over again, and the result is a new habit. As we all know, habits are tough to break, and ultimately our habits run our life. Now let's go into good habits and make those habits work for us. Now here's some exercises as we close out this here today. We go into getting this to work. Whether you realize it or not, you have already demonstrated persistence in certain areas of your life. Take a few moments to list 5 accomplishments that required undying persistence in order for you to achieve them. Okay? What have you done? 5 accomplishments that have required you to have persistence to achieve them. As an example, maybe when you learned how to walk, you probably fell down or hurt yourself, right, a few times. Maybe if you did something, maybe you're an athlete and you had to run something, you did a marathon, things like that. You know, persistence in some things you've actually learned a skill to be able to be an expert at it. Okay, and you know that, right? Now that you've kind of reminded yourself that A, you have the ability to be persistent, and B, persistent really works, think of one habit that you could implement that would drastically improve all the results in your life. Once you have the habit identified, begin immediately to work towards that habit. What you want to do is use a notebook or a computer to file and track all that daily progress, because you want to be able to look back and see the progress that you're happening. Because sometimes you do things, and after a week you're saying, oh, I didn't really do anything. But when you do it and you track it and you write it down, then you're going to say, wow, I really did get somewhere, right? It takes about 26 or so days for a new habit to develop, but 90 days for a new habit to be solidified in your being. If you miss a day during the first 30 days, you got to start again with day number 1. So persist. Now, lastly, I want to talk about, is very important, is to get a coach or a mentor if possible. And a mentor is somebody who allows you to see the hope inside yourself, and that's from Oprah Winfrey. Because what a mentor does is they give you the power of accountability. Now, I've personally been amazed by the increased level of my own performance through the use of an accountability partner. Whether you call them coaches, mentors, or partners, they're they're among us all the time, but they help you to kind of go through your business and see where you are and be accountable for your actions. Your upline should be your accountability partner, right? They need to kick you in the butt when you need it, and they need to give you praise when you need it. But when you talk to your sponsor, the person who brought you in the business, right, did you ever tell them what you want to achieve in the business? Well, you should tell them, even better, write it down and give it to them, so that this way they can hold you to your goals. If you're not reaching your goal, whatever it happens to be for that month, then the partner or the upline should look at it and say, hey, did you do anything to achieve your goal? Or did you not do something to achieve your goal, right? You gave me this, you wanted to achieve a certain income, and are you doing that this month to be able to achieve your income? So, become accountable for things that are happening, right? Okay, my definition of a coach is someone who collaborates with you to help you achieve and exceed your goals quickly and efficiently. A coach challenges your self-limiting attitudes and inspires you to strive for new levels of greatness in your life while holding you accountable for your actions. Now, in my experience, a coach will provide you with 3 critical components that will drive you to your success: motivation, inspiration, and education. So let's talk about motivation for a second, and we'll just wrap it up tonight. Now, whether you're highly motivated self-starter or the world's worst procrastinator, your coach provides an instant motivation by simply being aware of your intentions. If you say you're going to finish a task by a certain date, but tell no one, it's very easy to miss a deadline and let yourself off the hook by using excuses. If you set a clear and measurable goal with your coach and ask him or her to hold you accountable, a whole new variable is now in the equation: your personal pride, right? In my experience, most people find it very painful to admit to somebody else that they failed to uphold a commitment. Since this is the case for most of us, let's use this to our advantage. Your coach is somebody who's going to be able to hold you accountable and use you to stay committed to yourself and whatever your dreams and goals are. The next thing is inspiration. A coach always provides the addition and added benefit of an entirely new perspective on your life. The way you see yourself and the way your coach sees you is going to differ, okay? There's always a saying that says, I wish we'd see everybody else as everybody else. I wish we'd see ourselves as everybody else would see us. It's the same type of thing. The way you see yourself and the way your coach sees you is totally different. If you're locked in on a limiting belief that's been preventing you from achieving your full potential, your coach will point this out to you. Sometimes we need someone else to first believe in us so that we can believe in ourselves as well. When you have a high-quality coach working for you, he or she can provide that inspiration to help you see the potential in your life, okay, and something that maybe you didn't notice before. And lastly, education. If you want to receive full benefit from a coach, you must be willing to be a learn-it-all person as opposed to a know-it-all person. If you're prepared to be a student of success and learn from your coach, there are literally no limits to what you can accomplish. This does not mean that your coach has mastered life and has the key to the infinite and universal wisdom. All it means is that your coach is somebody who is also committed to your success and has plenty of life experience to share with you to help you towards your goals and aspirations. You want to work together with your coach and be able to be open-minded, and you'll see the results in your life. It's kind of like a personal trainer at a gym, right? Now, if you take the different ideas and exercises that I talked about today and try to take some of them to heart and use some of them, I think you're going to get a lot further along in your business. Obviously, you're not going to be able to see all of these things to happen all the time right now because I went through a lot of different things today, but this is coming out in my new book called SoulMLM.com. This is just a portion of that, and we're going to have a lot of other stuff as well in there. But I wanted to make an offer to everybody else that's over here because the book's going to be coming out in 60 days. And to give people a chance to be able to get that, I'm throwing in a lot of other bonuses in there as well, too. The book is $24.95, $4.95 shipping, okay? Now, what I'm going to be giving for you as well here is these bonuses as well for the same price. These are all going to be upsells in the book. After you buy the book, we're going to sell these as well in there, but this is all included with the offer that I have tonight. Okay, it's a 365-day planner, which I'll show you in just a second. 90 days of desktop motivation. I'll show you that in just a second. A resource guide, a free stuff guide, and I'm called the tool guy, so the tool guide to the top 20 free tools on the internet. Let me go over here and I'm going to show you what these are so you'll be able to see it. Okay, this happens to be here, and these happen to be some of my the products here I'm working on, but these are the desktop items I'm showing you over here, okay, that you're seeing over here, okay? We're going to give you 90 days of this, so that's 90 of these, and as you open this up and you see over here on my screen, we're going to give you all different sizes for your desktop. And you just put them on your desktop, and you just put them into a rotation, and they're going to inspire you all month. 90 days of these, that's in different sizes. You get all these different sizes, so it'll fit right up with your PC, depending on whatever size that your screen you want to have on there. So that's a credible bonus. That's included for free as well. The free stuff. You ever see on a browser all the stuff up here? How much would you pay to get all my stuff? Stuff that I picked up over the years. Look at all that stuff, right? I have all this stuff here. Stuff that I come across, that I see and things like that. Well, a lot of this stuff is on here that I've just put here for you, okay? This is all stock images, fonts, vectors, file storage, file sharing, blog lists, web icons. This is worth just the book alone. Image manipulation, everything here is free. Video hosting, color tools, SEO tools, social media icons, sounds and music, web pages, HTML themes, CSS themes. I mean, this is all included, okay? And that's with the package as well, too. Also, I'm going to give you this overview that I put together on 20 of the best free products on the internet. And it's just not a listing, but I go through each one of these and I give you a detail on how to download it, where to get it, what it does, how it works, how to set it up, and so on. I use this all the time, Audacity, and this shows you how to use it and how to install it and how to get it work for yourself. Okay? All of these are included for you, the top 20 that are over here. And if we go back up here, you see them over here. Okay? Paint, Cam Studio, Pick, Photo Sketcher, Jing, GIMP, which is like Photoshop, and FileZilla, Skype, Dropbox, TeamViewer. I use this all the time on my cell phone. So that's all included here as well, too, and I'm going to explain in this guide here how to be able to do that as well, too. The resource guide. This is also things that I pulled off my my browser, and these are all different links that I go to all the time for resources. So this is all included as well, too. It's probably going to be in the back of the book, actually. And lastly, this is incredible. I spent probably 9 months putting this together. Let me just make sure you can see this here, because this is incredible. This is a 365-day planner, a motivational planner, okay? It's a daily business planner. We have motivational things up here, motivational sayings over here. Then we go into, okay, what are we going to do for the first month, okay? Month number 1, 100 goals, 10 passions, your objective. Okay, your work breakdown, 100 goals and life exercises. Week 1, what do you do? Week 2, week 3, week 4. Then we go into individual parts of the week. We have sayings, motivational sayings, commitments. What are you going to do? Write it down. What have I learned about myself and my business this week? Day, then we go into, that's the week. Then we go into the day, motivational tip, money saving tip. Then we go into what do I need to get done today? Okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Day 2, different tips. Day 3, same thing. And then we go day 5, day 6, day 7. Then we go into the next month. Okay, I'm sorry, week number 2. Excuse me, for the same month, week number 2. And we're going into week 3, week 4, and so on. And this is another 7 days for, and there's 365 days of this, okay? Look at this over here, motivator tip, try a quiz, all right? And this is all stuff that I've picked up over 20 years of doing this. Day number 7, okay? Another thing here to help you. This is something you read to yourself. Week number 3, and as we go down here, we're going into month number 2. Month number 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and so on. So this is, over here you can see 400 pages covering an entire year of content for you to help you do your business. And this will be in a PDF format so you can print it out as well. Okay, so an incredible, incredible value, which took me a long time to put that together and so on for this book. So $24.95, guys. It's that plus the $4.95 shipping. The book I expect to be out in 60 days, so you're getting it now, obviously in advance of when it's going to be out. But if you go to SoulMLM.com, SoulMLM.com, whoops, and you can order it on the bottom here. If you just click on this image over here, it'll take you right to a shopping cart, credit card. $24.95 and $5.95 shipping. So just wanted to give you that offer if you want to do that. And once it opens up and the book comes out, then all those bonuses go away and you have to buy them. So just let you know about that. So hopefully you enjoyed the stuff tonight, and I was able to kind of get some ideas in your head as far as building your business from the inside out. And then, then the mechanics start to take over as far as tools and things like that, which I cover in a lot of other webinars in my other book and so on. So let's see. We're going to close out. Let's see. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate it. Sorry, it's kind of running late. It's actually 12 o'clock. It's midnight. And sorry for many people on the webinar. They got blocked out because we ran out of room on the webinar. So we'll have to send this out to everybody that's a member of the program, and we'll make it available in your back office as well. So Did you guys enjoy the webinar tonight in going over a lot of this information? Donna says, brilliant. Thank you. I like to hear that once in a while. I put a lot of hours into putting all this stuff together, believe me. And this book here, SoulMLM, I've been putting it together for like 2 years. So it's been a while. Great. Awesome. Thanks. Loved it. Thank you. I appreciate it, guys. This is going to be in your back office in the Ultimate Cycler. And you'll be able to download it. If we can put it on YouTube, we will, but if you can download it and then you just unzip it and play it on your computer so you can watch it again, you can pause it, stop it, start it, forward it, and you can see those different sections that I'm talking about, okay? And again, this is all the content I talked about tonight is in the book, so, and there's a lot of other stuff in there too. This is just, an overview of different things. So, wow, everybody's typing in. That's fantastic. Thank you. Loved it. Thank you. Excellent. Very good. Fantastic. Thanks, Belinda. I appreciate that. I do exactly what you do, Peter, with my people and the free tools, too. Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, at least know that some people appreciate some of the effort I put into it. All right, guys, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'll look forward to speaking to you real soon. If we can help you in any way here at the company, then please contact us. We have the support links on the website, and we'll be able to do that post-haste. Incidentally, if anybody has not gotten their codes for their scraper, if you don't get it within 24 hours during the week and within by Monday the next day, if you do it on the weekend, then please send it in again. So this way it might have got caught in spam or something like that, and we'll certainly get it over to you. Okay, so have yourself a great night, everybody. Bye-bye.